Get your t-shirts, grab your glue, gather some blue tack, some rhinestones, and let's have some fun. You want to get a board, but you want to leave the plastic wrap on. If you don't have plastic wrap on your board, you want to put down parchment paper so the glue does not stick through the t-shirt to the board. Get some clips, paper clips, clamps, alligator clips, and clip your shirt to the board so it stays nice and flat and doesn't move around on you in case you need to move your project. I find 6 clips to 7 clips work really well. Now take some cry-cut vinyl and draw your design, or you can take a stencil and draw around your shape. This is what you do when you don't have a cry-cut machine. Now you're going to cut your shape out to make it easier to trim off all the excess vinyl away from your shape. I am a balloon twister. One of the symbols of my industry is the balloon dog, so this is a shape I have chosen. Now that you have your shape, peel the backing off and lay your shape sticky side down onto your t-shirt, centering it on the neck. I want my balloon dog to be up on its back toes rather than flat, just to make my design a little different from most balloon dogs that you see on fabrics. I make sure it's nice and flat. And now the fun part starts. I take my largest rhinestone. These are called SS20s. I take my blue tack, which I also like to call poster putty. I pull it to activate it and make it sticky, and then I put it on the end of a thin point. I'm using these paper embossers, and I'm testing to make sure that they pick up my rhinestone okay and the rhinestones come off. I use toothpicks for many different things. To clear my glue applicator. And here we go. I'm getting the applicator onto the end of my glue. I like to use jewelry applicators because of the fine tip. Gives me a nice glue bead. You want to work with the glue while it is still soft and sticky. If you're new at this, I recommend only using 5 glue dots at a time. You can use your finger, or here I am using the toothpick to hold the gem down when it wants to come back up with the blue tack applicator. You can buy these things called wax sticks, but I'm working with what I have. You want to tap the rhinestones down to make sure that the rhinestones have firm contact with the t-shirt. While you're applying your layer of rhinestones, glue will keep leaking out of your bottle. There's no way to really cap it and stop that flow. So I leave it on a paper towel so when it drips glue, all I have to do is wipe the tip and do my next section of rhinestones. I've actually gone as far as 20 glue dots, but then I have to place the rhinestones very quickly because by the time you get to placing that 20th rhinestone on that 20th glue dot, sometimes the glue dot has already dried and is not really sticky anymore. Sometimes you're able to pull that glue, that slightly dried glue off, because as long as it's under 5 minutes old, it should pull off with minimum residue. But there will still be a residue. I'm putting this video in fast mode so you can see the magic happen. That is looking really good. Now we're going to get ready for our next size. But first, make sure you return all your extra loose rhinestones back to the package. Here we are. The next size is size 16. I put this layer in between the first layer of rhinestones. When going around the legs, I might do an extra rhinestone just to go with the curve. And of course, tap down. Now, if they're all gathered tight, the design might look too stiff. So I make the design less stiff by feathering out the second row. I put some size 16s out a little bit from that second row that we just made. And then I place the rhinestones on it using my little toothpick to help hold it down when it wants to come up. Now, when these glue dots, when I first make them, sometimes the rhinestones don't want to stick right away because the glue is too runny. It hasn't become tacky. Here we are, making sure that this satellite row is all nicely attached. Pushing it down also causes the glue to go around the bottom of the rhinestone and get more of a grip on the sides. And when it dries, it flattens a little bit more and is clear. These are size 12s. Now to continue my feathering, I now place the glue in a zigzag pattern. Again, this is to make the design so it still sparkles, but it's not heavy or encrusted to the point that the shirt does not move easy. Now we do size 10. Size 10 rhinestones I use as a filler for the center between the ear and the tail. And I also try to go with the zigzag motion too. You can see here how I zigzag up and down as I go around. Keep that vinyl sticker on. Next size, size 8. This will be our 5th row of rhinestones. They're getting really tiny. You might want to use a toothpick to help flip the rhinestones over, so when it comes to applying them, it can go quickly. You can lose track of where you're placing your rhinestones, so sometimes it's helpful to put toothpicks down in the area that you're working with. Now here's the tiniest size of all, size 5. You might not think you'll be able to do this. In fact, I'm not really looking at these rhinestones when I pick them up other than to make sure that I see them sparkle and I'm picking up the correct side. I'm kind of going by feel. Now, as long as you pull the glue strings off after about a half hour, enough to let the gem set, this way when I pull off the string, it won't pull off the rhinestone. But if you wait too long, these strings are very incredibly hard to pick up. This one, I was able to pull the thinner part of the string but the thicker and older dried part of the glue does not want to come off. In fact, it just stretches. I don't want to stretch it to the point that the rhinestone comes off, so this is where I take scissors and I cut it free. If I leave any glue dots, I say that they are constellation connection points. And now that the glue dots are all taken care of and the strings, I remove the vinyl sticker from the shirt and watch the sparkle happen. You'll get addicted to how sparkly this makes your shirts. So much that you're going to want to make one for you and all of your friends.